Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang, and welcome to this video on spiritual health and happiness, and restated how spiritual health leads to happiness or brings happiness. And I was thinking about the patients that I saw today, and a thought popped into my head, which was, who were the happiest people that I saw today? I was just thinking about happiness for some reason. And two people immediately came to mind. And as I thought about the encounters that we had and the things we talked about, it was clear to me that these were both people that I knew to be very spiritually healthy. And so there are two characteristics of why spiritual health makes people happy. And it just kind of comes along as part of the deal, so to speak. And the first thing which characterizes the people that I consider to be spiritually healthy is that they don't have resentment as a big part of their life. They're not dragging around resentment when bad things happen or when people do bad things to them. They're much less likely to hold on to resentment. They don't have this burden of unforgiveness that they're dragging around with them. And that just characterizes people who are spiritually healthy more than people who are not spiritually healthy. And the people that they're not necessarily, I'm not trying to suggest that they're mean or that they're uncivil or anything like that. It's just that they're not as happy, or they're not happy at all, because they carry the burden of resentment and unforgiveness towards various circumstances that inevitably happen in our lives. And without a tool to deal with resentment that flows from unforgiveness, we will be burdened by it. And that tool is spiritual health. And the second thing that both of these folks had in mind, or they had as characteristics that came to my mind, were that they're both very thankful people. And they both had just had some pretty bad things happen to them, that from which they were fortunately recovering. But they were both extremely thankful for the whole process, as opposed to feeling like, why did this happen to me? Or why I deserve better, something better than this. And so this attitude of thankfulness is the other characteristic of spiritual health that helps people just to be automatically happy. These two characteristics of not dragging around a lot of resentment through the day and being thankful in as many circumstances as possible are sort of natural outcomes of spiritual health. But at the same time, just because somebody has a commitment to spiritual health doesn't mean that these things naturally flow. You have to aim for them. Whether or not you have any interest at all in the spiritual life, or whether that's the core of what you're trying to do, you still have to aim at unforgiveness, being taken care of by forgiveness, which allows resentment to fade away. And you have to aim at thankfulness. And if you don't aim at both of these things, you will not achieve them, whether you have spiritual health on your radar or not. So I do want to encourage spiritual health, first of all, which I define as a close relationship with God, and more specifically, a close relationship with Jesus. Now, other people might define that differently. That I'm not trying to say that I know everything. This is just how I define spiritual health and how I assess people and try to understand what's going on in their life. So you can't be spiritually healthy very easily in a vacuum. In my experience, a relationship is needed to have true spiritual health. So the concept that I'm promoting in all of this is a whole person health approach, which means health of body, mind, and spirit. They're linked together. You can't separate them completely from each other, although you can kind of gaze on one and focus on it so that you can try to understand it more. And that's what we're doing today, is focusing on spiritual health. And I happen to believe that that's the foundation of all true health because of these two features of dealing with, having a tool to deal with unforgiveness and resentment, and having a lifestyle of thankfulness. So hope you found this helpful. God bless and have a great day.